This episode of Horror Movie Talk is brought to you by OK Google.
Kill.
Is this a metal thing?
Yes.
Little taste.
David, what is this?
Pretty thick.
Great.
I have to kill a lot of people. Just tell me what you want me to fuck.
I have big tits and a tiny vagina.
Oil me up, Daddy.
I can't believe that Bryce prefers big tits. Mistletoe alert. This is backcountry.
This guy was a real jerk.
How long can Hugo being pregnant?
Chomp, 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 chomp.
Oh, she's such a dick, David.
Okay, everybody, put on your corpse handling gloves.
Ew.
Hoodie Picasso.
Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk. Your panel of expert hosts each week are Fog Machine Hansen, who holds a PhD in spookology, and Professor David Day, that's me, the foremost expert in scare no-nos. We come at you today with a very special theatrical review of Megan. 2-liter Coca-Cola. Megan. How are you doing today, Fog Machine?
Doing well.
Good.
I'm glad that you didn't say the ad over my speakers, because I think I have a Google Home speaker that isn't connected to the new Wi-Fi network that I set up. Right. And so every once in a while on Zoom calls, it goes off. So if I say, okay, Google, what's the weather?
Please connect to the Wi-Fi or else I cannot kill. Hey guys, we're Horror Movie Talk. You guys should check us out over at horrormovietalk.com. From there you got links to cool places. Some notable ones are our shop, our Facebook group, which if you're not familiar with, you should check out. Been having a lot of really cool, funny, and touching, emotional posts over there. It's a nice community of good people who have horror movie recommendations and recommendations for your soul. And then also our Patreon, where you can pay us money to
to corrupt our souls.
Yeah,
with filthy lucre.
Yeah. We post new episodes every Wednesday. Give us a call at 682-253-4468. And
also want to plug our YouTube channel.
Oh yes, of course.
We're at 999 subscribers today as of this recording. So
gonna have a special recording to do today.
You could be the one that pushes it over the edge.
Yeah.
So, and we promise not to let it change us once we
Never.
monetize YouTube.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Oil me up, Daddy.
Yeah, Bryce will just finally purchase that vat of baby oil and bathe in it constantly. But that's pretty normal. We'll start out this show by giving a brief review and our score for the movie. We score on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being bad, 10 being good, 5 being average. After we give our score, we'll get into spoilers, spoil the movie, and take a deeper dive into what we liked and hated about it. Later in this episode, we will just be doing, good old perennial favorite horror movie horrors, where we take your voicemail calls, and I think you might have to do that, because I don't know that I can do that over my mixer, over my little dinky doodle thing.
You probably can, but we never figured it out. I should be able to do it.
Well, thank you. We went and saw Megan, and were shown what would happen if you allowed a robot to raise your child. Also, there was a crazy rich Asian in it. Hey! We're going to do something a little different than normal. We're not going to play the trailer, because every time we do, that gets us demonetized on YouTube, which is not monetized anyway. But in the future, it might be, if one more person subscribes. So no trailer today. You can look it up on your own. You're a big boy or a girl. Megan is still in theaters right now, so you can go check it out. Came out kind of on the start of the second week of December, so it's not, and it's been doing pretty well. So anyway, here's the synopsis. A hot robotics engineer, which is the start of a sentence I never thought I would say, named Gemma, played by Allison Williams, strikes pay dirt when her sister and brother-in-law die, and she ends up with her orphan niece, Katie. Now she can finally test her over-engineered killing machine / toy on an unsuspecting child victim that she is the guardian for, and have no legal ramifications. M3gan is an AI-driven toy / babysitter / baby slitter. Like what I did there. She is going to be the toy everyone buys this year. That is, if she can convince the archaeologists and the lawyer that Jurassic Park, M3gan, is safe. Everyone gets more hydraulic death than they bargained for.
I believe it's pronounced M3gan.
M3gan. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My review for M3gan is that it came with a ton of hype. I've heard so much hype. I got to tell you, man, I was like, we can't get to theaters as easily as we could before. And so I was really I was really biting my nail. Yeah, me. Biting my nails, being like, I'm really missing out on M3gan. I feel like everybody's just the world is abuzz with M3gan talk. And I got to tell you, the buzz, it's not doing it any favors, in my opinion.
Apparently it went viral on TikTok or something around teenagers, because originally it was supposed to be a
dance in it. Is there like a dance in it? Could it be the dance?
Maybe. I mean, oh man, we'll have to talk about TikTok algorithm on the afterpod. But yeah, originally that was supposed to be like a pretty hard R with a lot of gore, but like it went viral with teens, and so they pared it back into a PG-13. I don't think it was. I don't know. We can talk about whether that compromise was something that lessened it. I think to a certain extent, probably. But yeah, this is one of those that I think just took off, or it was like captured the imagination of the youth. And that's why everyone's talking about it. The youth who have
never seen Child's Play.
Right.
This is the thing. It's like this movie's been done recently.
Right, yeah. Specifically the Child's Play remake, because the Child's Play remake is almost literally this.
Yeah, it's actually this. It's
right.
But yeah, no. I was last night. I was talking to one of our fans over on our Discord, the Desolator, and he was bemoaning the same thing. He was saying the same. He was like, "I wish they hadn't pared it back to a PG-13." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know they did that." And he was like, "Yeah, kids." And yeah, kids have no place in horror movies except to be absolutely fucking terrified. Like, it should change you, as it did me. It should really mess you up badly. Anyway, so I haven't even gotten into my review.
Sorry.
M3gan. Yeah, it came with a ton of hype, probably because it's the high-tier status winter Blumhouse release. Which means it got their full marketing budget. It really got... I've seen a lot of shit about M3gan. I can't say it let me down. It wasn't terrible, but it's also not blowing my socks off. This is a better than average horror movie with some solid jump scares and a creepy concept that's very similar to Child's Play, as we already said. The idea of your child being raised by a robot is scary enough when all you do is plop them down in front of YouTube every day. But when you plop them down with a silicone-covered robot that can wink and has opposable digits, it's even scarier. Hey, kid, I've got fingers, and they're weird fat fingers. M3gan is scary at times and quite funny as well. Some of the one-liners landed perfectly for me, which was a lot of fun. If you're the kind of person who has a hard time not picking movies apart, M3gan is not for you. This is a popcorn munching, good time with friends kind of movie. There was some teens in my movie theater who were giggling and having a great time throughout. This is definitely on the more intense side of that whole experience. But nevertheless, it is definitely a PG-13 movie because the gore is implied, never ever shown. So, yeah. It's got some great moments, but will be forgotten in a year or two, which is, it's a lot better than being forgotten as soon as you walk out of the theater.
I don't know. I don't know if it'll be forgotten in a year or two. I think it stands on its own, even though it's easy to compare it to Child's Play. Like, I think it is kind of a unique setup in that it's not... I mean, this is like as close to a human, this type of AI has gotten. Usually it's like with Child's Play, if you look at it, it's obviously just kind of a robot gone haywire. It doesn't really have any real personality that I can remember. I don't know. It's been a while since I saw it, but I feel like it's its own thing. And I think I can imagine that it'll have some sequels to it in the coming years and could become a franchise kind of thing.
It's so crazy to think of the ways that they would make this into a sequel. Because you're right, it could turn into a sequel. It's just the sequels jump the shark so insanely. Like, can you imagine the world in which I don't know. I don't know. Movies are just so crazy now. It's just, is it so much to ask for a fucking voodoo-inspired doll to be struck by lightning and have the soul of a serial killer implanted in? Where's the simple movies, Bryce? Where are the simple, easy to understand for my old millennial brain? Where I almost Generation X, but not quite brain. Where is it? I don't know. Anyway, I give this a very light 7. Probably more like a 6 out of 10. What do you think, Bryce?
Yeah, I give it a 6. Like, kind of a heavy 6, though, because, like, I'll admit, I had a good time at the theater. Like, it was
all right. I wasn't looking at my watch, and that's good.
Yeah, I laughed a couple times. There's a couple times that it's pretty great. I think, like, where it loses a lot of points for me is just they didn't decide on which tone they were going to go for, and they didn't commit to either one. Like, there's two ways I could see you go about this. Either one, you go full ham and, like, just real kitschy and broad, just make it real broad and focus on the kills and, like, the hubris of the scientist, and don't worry at all about relationships. It's all about, like, just stand in. Like, these are cookie cutter characters that don't act like rational people. And then the other end of it would be to go realistic with it and have it, like, have a real emotional human core to it. And it doesn't do either. It like goes halfway on each of those tones. So it's like whenever M3gan is on screen and doing her thing, it's pretty broad and it, like, is pretty hammy. And a lot of, like, I think the screenwriter probably intended it to be a lot more broad, and they tried to make it more natural, and it just comes off as kind of weird or bad at times. And then,
yeah, there were some missed opportunities, right? I feel like it could have been due to the editing, right? To get that PG-13. I mean, they had Ronnie Chang in it, and He's a very funny person. He just is. I mean, and he acted well in this. There was nothing wrong with his part necessarily. He did the thing he was supposed to do. But I feel like it was a missed opportunity. He could have been hilarious, like just let him off the leash a little bit.
I think no, I mean I honestly blame it on the directing and the acting, because some of the acting was pretty bad or miscast, and the direction was just felt pretty aimless. And I think this is the first like real, big budget movie that this director has had. And so on the flip side, like the other thing is like they go kind of hammy in some spots, but it's not really sold by everything around it, like the plot around M3gan. And then sometimes they try to make it like emotional and like relationship based, and it's always unearned. Like at the very end, who's the main character's name? Not M3gan. Allison Williams' character, Gemma. She's like, I love you so much, and I care for you. And you're like, we have seen no evidence of this, or that there has been any evolution in the relationship at all, or why she cares about this girl in particular. I mean, like, sure, there's the baseline, but it's that moment was so unearned, and you're like, yeah, you need to set that up better throughout the movie and show like a growing relationship or concern, or like some kind of turning point to where you don't have Gemma just look like kind of an asshole the entire time. And that's what's weird, because like the script makes Gemma an asshole, but the acting and directing for that part doesn't. It's so bland. It's like it's such like a blank slate. Allison Williams like doesn't add anything to it in terms of like what the characters like from. It's so weird like watching a movie where you see the movie that the scriptwriter was trying to write, and everyone else that's making the movie doesn't get it, and so it just seems really off.
That's why I say I think it has a lot to do with the editing. I mean, in the case of Gemma, maybe not. Like that's a pretty glaring oversight. But then again, there's a weird thing happening in entertainment which might have like Adult Swim to blame, where like everything is just detached now and emotionless, and it's kind of creeping into real life a little bit, like this like post-ironic irony that's just that just makes things feel so cheap and unearned, even in real life. Where it used to be the realm of Tim and Eric, and now it's like the internet, bar none, and then also like real life. And so to me, this movie, the feel of that feel is almost like a normal thing now. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? See,
that's the thing, is like that's what I feel the script was asking for, and they just don't pull it off at all. Like there's no irony attempted in the movie.
Yeah, I know, and yet you still get that weird oily feeling, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I condemn it, and I honestly don't see how the editing or like cutting it down to PG-13 would be to blame at all, because it's like you can't edit out bad acting. Like you can't edit out someone that just doesn't understand what the character's supposed to be, or like edit out the aimless direction of like what are we trying to say here, But yeah, I'm gonna going to come out strong and say, like, I really disliked Allison Williams' performance, and I actually disliked Ronnie Chang's performance as well. I think they're miscast, or they just did not get great performances out of them.
We've reviewed every every Allison Williams horror movie there is, which is M3gan, The Perfection, and Get Out. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree with anything you said. It's just a trend. I feel like I could blame it on a trend in terms of, but Ronnie Chang, I feel like he was miscast a little bit. Oh, but I won't know, until the director's cut comes out and I don't watch it, and then I just hear the things that are said about it. Anywho, nothing to write home about necessarily. Although on the Horror Movie Talk group on Facebook, which is really a cool place to have discussions about this kind of stuff, because everyone's respectful, and if they're not, we kick them to the motherfucking curb and put a gypsy curse on them, akin to Drag Me to Hell. Over there's a lot of people who I've seen be like, this is my movie now. Like, this is it. This is as scary as it can get. There's a conceptual thing that happens where you put something out into the world, and then it's just the world's, and for some people, the scariest thing on earth is Jaws. And then there's this other little group of people who are like, yeah, Jaws was scary, but have you seen Piranha? And you're like, you saw Jaws? And they're like, piranhas. And still. And you're like, wait, what? And so you just can't, and it's not like they're wrong. It's just it hit right for them, So I don't know. If you like M3gan, nothing's wrong with you. I liked it a little bit. I just think Child's Play it did it multiple times, 20 times, Anyway, if you're listening to these commercials, you should know that you don't have to. You can hop on our Patreon, pay us a couple of ducats a month, just a few, just the cost of a cup of coffee. Will get you tons of extra digital bonus content, even some HMT stickers, and all kinds of cool crap. Head on over there, patreon.com/horrormovietalk. Support us. We put out a free show. We do it for you. We really like it, but we also like being able to, up the quality, get you 4K cameras, hopefully here, fingers crossed, guys, so that we can keep making you a better thing and entertaining you into the future. To that end, horrormovietalk.com/shop. We got a couple different designs on shirts. We got a bunch of different designs on stickers. We got coasters. We got all kinds of crazy crap. And they're all made by our resident artist, Dustin Goebel, who is a professional artist who is respectful of your sexuality and pronouns. You can contact him at dgoebel00. That's at DGOEBEL00 on Instagram. Make your artistic dreams come true. Give us a call at 682-253-4468 to get on that whores segment. That segment. And you will hear yourself on a episode of Horror Movie Talk. Thanks for listening, and let's get into spoilers. Spoilers! This is actually going to be a pretty fun one to talk about, I feel like. Just because... a little late, but I like it. I like the...
I was trying to find it. I couldn't find it.
It still works. the concept here is rife, right? It's thick.
I think it does a lot of things good. I'm not gonna bag on it too much. Like, I think the concept of M3gan is great. Anything with the doll is great. Like how she acts and the evolution of that. I mean, there could be a little tweaks there, but for the most part, it hits all the marks that it needs to for that specific like villain character to be sold, and has a lot of menace built in. That's not like that happens very naturally versus like, okay, we're making an evil doll movie. How are we going to get to the evil doll? Like, the doll's evil. Okay, moving on.
Voodoo serial killer. Throw it in there.
See Annabelle or The Boy or The Boy 2, I guess. You know, any number of these like evil doll movies where it's like, well, look, it's the camera zooms in and the doll looks menacing, so it's bad. It's evil.
Yeah, James Wan, actually, I forgot to mention, did the story of this.
Yeah, the writing, it's not great. It's not great. Yeah, James Wan and Akilah Cooper. Akilah Cooper wrote the screenplay. I think I'm saying that right. And you might recognize that team from Malignant. They were the writers of Malignant. And that's another one where it's like they
Did you
didn't
like that?
fully
I can't
commit.
remember. You didn't
No,
like that.
I didn't
Okay.
like it.
Yeah, me neither.
It's another one that didn't fully commit to the tone. It was like, what kind of movie are we making here? Like, it kind of half-assed does a broad, kitschy movie, but doesn't quite pull it off, or like it's just so messy that it's confusing. That one's a little closer to what I'm talking about. Probably like the best example would be like, look at Reanimator, or, you know, one of these, or you like the Evil Deads, like where it's very broad. It like goes for it, and everything around it can have compromises and no one complains because, like, who cares? We're here to have fun, you know? But yeah, I really liked M3gan, the toy, and
Yeah, it was, I mean, they do go to painstaking efforts to justify the toy, right? Which is, okay, so let's this is a good place to start. So what is M3gan, right? M3gan is
she's a Model 3
android.
generation android
Man.
nurse.
Thank you. You've cleared it all up. Yeah, M3gan is a supremely over-engineered android that has all the fucking very, very, very best, like mechanical servos and gears, like titanium and fucking ceramics, and like this thing is you know, the robot you had in your mind, the futurized robot of the future, you know, like, it is that. It's the thing you see in the lobby of Tokyo business parks, you know, like, it is a lifelike android that has AI inside it. How could anybody ever afford, or why would this ever be marketed to kids? That doesn't make any sense at all, right? Well, they go to painstaking effort to kind of try and tie all that together. And the way that goes is they're a toy company, and they build toys. This start part felt very Child's Play. They build toys that are forever toy, you know, forever pets. You know, they're pets that don't die because it's sad when you lose a...
Technologically advanced, more obnoxious Furbies.
Right. Yeah, and you can feed your food, and the interface on these toys is on your iPad, and you feed it and it poops, and it's exactly what you would think a toy like this for kids would be. Well, the engineer who came up with these fucking Furby toys, it has a little side quest in her laboratory underneath the Hasbro, in the Hasbro developmental facility, where she's also working on M3gan. And she knows this is going to revolutionize the toy industry. This is the Tesla of kids' toys. People will pay the premium because it is so perfect. It is going to change everything. It will help raise your kids. It will be beneficial to your kid. Okay. Got it. Understand. That being said, why would you give it all of the ability of a killing machine? Like, why not? Like, I had a note in here that was, it would be funny if they made another version of M3gan that had shitty weak servos instead of hydraulic presses.
Right. It's like, we made it so it was able to draw, pictures of unicorns and play games and play chess and teach kids about hygiene and science.
And pick up a Toyota Camry.
Crush entire, dump trucks into a small cube, and, things that kids like.
The things you need around the house. Remember trash compactors? Do you remember trash compactors? Whatever happened to that? Well, don't we still need our trash compacted? Why not?
That's a really good question. Yeah, my mom's old house had a trash compactor.
Yeah, why can't I compact? They were always broken. That was probably the fucking thing. Everybody's house who I went to who had a trash compactor, first of all, I was like, oh, you're rich. And then second of all, it was broken. So I've been to so many people's houses, and I've been like, can I press the button on your trash compactor? And they're like, you can, but it won't do anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Ours would break once or twice, but it was all, it always worked. And I think it came down to you just don't put anything organic in it, because I think that just gums it up. It has to be, pretty clean trash. Which now we could just call recycling.
I need that badly here.
I'll tell you what, though, it's useful. You look at, and especially in my house where absolutely no one has the capacity to push the trash down at all. Just no adult.
There is 3 empty Doritos bags at the bottom, making up this much of the fucking space, and everyone's
and then
like,
they open
trash
it and they're
is full.
Oh, it's full, and then they put their,
they drop the thing onto the trash like this. They go. They don't even set it onto it. They just from above. They just drop it.
Yeah, my kids will look at the trash, and it's got the 3 empty Doritos bags, and they're like, oh, it's full, and then they put the banana peel on top of the lid. It's no, I can't stand it.
Now M3gan is
so I need
a
trash
sense.
compactor. Yeah, we need a M3gan to come compact the trash.
No, you need a M3gan to fucking kill those kids. Jesus Christ. Nah, those are faulty kids. You fucked up. Yeah, no. Okay, so that now we have the concept of M3gan, but M3gan is so completely over-engineered. It's laughable. She is the Terminator.
Is it less than a Tesla? It's no, this would not be less than a Maserati. In reality, you would not be able to buy this Android for anything less than 6 digits, definitely.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Mid 6 digits.
Yeah, yeah. If you want a T800, that's gonna cost you for sure. Skynet doesn't just get the money to take over the world by just creating shitty prototypes. Yeah, so that's the concept of the toy. Now let's get into the concept of this ludicrous storyline. So Gemma is the super sexy engineer behind M3gan. She's also the sister of a gal who was going up Mount Hood apparently with her kid and her husband, and
They were going to the Overlook.
yeah, and as so many of the so Mount Hood is the place you go if you want to go skiing and you're from Portland. So we have some expertise here, because we both know that area pretty well. Okay. This is a very common occurrence going up to Mount Hood, which is people are like, I'll just drive my 2-wheel drive car up the mountain and we'll drive on the snow and we don't need chains. And then fishtail around and then fucking die. Like this, it's so. And to couple that with the fact that nobody from Portland is very familiar with driving in the snow unless they're a transplant from somewhere else. Like
I've literally done this with my family before.
Yes.
This is literally, we got to the point where, the road wasn't clear, and it's like, oh, there's still snow on the ground in the mountain. I guess this is where we stop this town. And like, we weren't even like prepared physically for when we got out of the car. So it was literally like, we came up here to play in the snow. I can't walk more than 50 feet without falling on my ass. So I guess we're playing in the snow in this parking lot right here for a little bit. And then we're going to go back home. Not my proudest moment, but it wasn't my idea also in the first place. So,
but it goes to prove the point. This is perhaps the most realistic concept in the whole movie. Is these unprepared Portland people being like, I can drive in the snow up a mountain, and then just being like, wow, we're fucking dead now. It's like, that is how that happens every time. So that's a very true to life thing in that area. Yeah, so they fucking die, and their kid, who's in the back seat, lives. Also very true to life. Unfortunately for the kid and
I mean, we got to start thinking about what are the consequences of having really, really, really safe child seats. You want your kid to live on without you in a car wreck?
That's how you get orphans.
I mean, that's how you get orphans, is buying a current car seat that's not 2 years old.
Well, good news. I just sold my old car seat for $15 to some family who did not bat an eye. And
so you're a criminal now?
I'm a criminal?
Yeah.
I sold a seat?
Yeah. Like, if it's old, you need to throw it in the trash because it's not safe anymore, David.
Oh, it's I didn't even.
The plastic becomes brittle, and they just fly out of the window.
It didn't even have
after the 2 year mark.
It didn't even have the expiration date on it, Bryce. It just said when it was made. I don't know these things.
Well, if it's over 2 years old, you have to throw it away.
Over 2 years old? This is a fucking big car seat coming in hot.
Everyone knows your child can't have one car seat until they are out of a car seat. You need to buy at least like 3 car seats by the time that they're in a booster.
Have you done this?
No.
Okay.
Of course not.
I don't know. You're very convincing in your
I just
scorn.
have a wife that bought into this stuff when we were buying car seats. I'm like, why don't we just get a used car seat? She's like, that's not a thing.
Do you
There's
want
no such
a
thing.
dead baby?
Yeah, this is the old argument of like, can you win the argument where the your side of the argument is, I'm fine with our child not being as safe.
Yeah, no, it's an uphill battle for sure, but I mean, you just go.
It's a hill I'm willing to die on.
Well, it's a hill you're willing to let
It's
your
a
kid
hill
die on.
My children are willing to. I'm willing to kill my children on.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then what's her name? Katie is sent over to Allison Williams as the parental guardian, and Gemma, the character, is not equipped for this in any way.
It would have been so much more, like, it was so strange because Gemma's character should have been, Bruce, a mildly autistic engineer dude.
I wrote down the exact same thing. I was literally like saying to myself, she needs to be way more autistic. Like this, she needs to be portrayed as way more obsessed about her career.
There are autistic women, right?
Right.
It's just you don't see it so much. It just felt, with it being a mechanical engineer character too, although that would make sense. So I don't know. Maybe this does make plenty of sense, and maybe that's why. Maybe
see, this is what it is. I guess. See, we're finding fault where there is none, David, because the character is autistic, but she's just really, really good at masking.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's actually.
But I
think
mean,
you've
like,
done it.
I wish they would have taken more effort to show her obsession and aloofness, other than just kind of being like milquetoast.
They took a little bit. They took a little bit of effort to it when they look over at the wall of collectible toys in her house, and the therapist who's there to assess her her capability in being a parent to this child is there. The therapist is like, maybe you guys should just play with some toys. And Gemma's like, Katie's like, the kid is like, we don't have any toys except for those up on the wall, and those are off limits because those are Gemma's collectible, like, super important toys. And the camera pans over to Gemma, and she's like, oh, you want to play with this? We could totally play with the collectible toys, yeah. And then she like goes to great effort to like show that I don't care about opening this super collectible box. And then as she's rolling this, it's a ball, but it's a ball that can turn, transformer ball, and as she's rolling it back and forth on the carpet, she just can't fucking help herself. She's like, this ball isn't just a ball. It actually turns into, and the therapist is like, hey, let's let the child lead this. And she's like, I felt this in my bones. I was like, but it's not how you're supposed to do the thing. We gotta take it apart. Yes, we can play with the ball as a ball. Like, it was there a little bit.
Yeah, well, see, here's the thing where the script has it, and, like, they try to do that, but, like, just she's miscast. I think, like, it just wasn't a part for Allison Williams because she can't sell it as, like, being someone other than just kind of Allison Williams that sitting there, Like, it needs a little more spice. Like, I think if I were to recast it, I'd put in... a comedian, like
Ronnie Chang.
No, I do. Oh, shoot! I just lost her name. Hold on.
Like Kristen Wiig.
Yes, exactly. Kristen.
Was
Wiig.
that who you were thinking of?
Yes, that was exactly who I was thinking of.
I was thinking of Kristen Wiig or what's that lady's what's that?
Kristen Bell. Kristen's would do great in this.
No, she's a bigger gal. Who is the gal who I was thinking of? She's also in Bridesmaids.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
the kind of the physical comedian.
Yes, yeah, she would have been fucking fabulous in this.
Yeah, she would have been good. I mean, someone that's broader, that can sell like high anxiety, distracted, and yeah, Allison Williams just didn't have it. So
This is driving me absolutely bonkers that I can't find the late. Oh, Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy.
That's
yeah.
who I was thinking of for this. Yeah, Melissa McCarthy would make this role really solid. Yeah, I think I want Melissa McCarthy in this role. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Anywho,
Are you a Melissa McCarthy fan?
Oh, yeah.
Are you unapologetic? Yeah, I can't stand people that like don't like her because she's so great.
Who doesn't like
I don't
Melissa
know.
McCarthy?
It's crazy to me. People are like, oh, they write it off as like, even like the quote unquote bad movies like The Heat or what was that other movie? The movie where she was a superhero with that other black actress. Like, they're great. She's so funny. She's so good in it.
She can take any. I mean, she can take most things and make them very, very fun. She has just a phenomenal sense of humor. It's
Dude,
just
sorry, this is an aside. I was so aggravated last night. I was on TikTok, and
okay.
there was a clip of Anthony Jeselnik, and I know you really like Anthony Jeselnik.
I love him. Yeah, he's maybe the best.
I think he's very funny, but I hate him. You know?
That's good. That's
because
perfect. That's how
the
you're
point.
supposed to
That's
feel.
exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
it's brilliant.
no, but I can see past it. I'm like, no, I don't like that this is. Anyways, so he had this bit where he told a joke as himself, and then he told the same joke as Dane Cook. And it was funny. Like, and he was relatively accurate with Dane Cook, you know. I don't know why it's relevant at this point to shit on Dane Cook. I mean, it's not like he's the force that he was in the early 2000s, but like, and then like all the comments were like, well, some of them were like, I actually kind of like the Dane Cook part. And they're like, no, you don't understand. He was making fun of him. I'm like, and then, okay, sorry, this is the comment that bothered me most. Is like, said physical comedy is for simpletons. I'm like, are you? It's such a weird gatekeeping thing to say.
If you can pull off physical comedy, that's probably the hardest thing to do. Like, right? Because it is so hard to pull off. You know,
it's a once in a generation thing to have a great physical comedian. Mm-hmm. And like to say that Dane Cook isn't funny when he's got like auditoriums filled with people laughing at him mugging on stage. It's like, no, that is the joke. You're laughing at this guy doing physical comedy, and the physical comedy is funny. So just like get over yourself. It's like if the you know, rubric for whether something's funny or not is how funny intelligent people think it is. It's like, okay, well, I guess Dennis Miller is the funniest comic in the world. It's like, and then the people with the best sense of humor are the people that never laugh because they get everything and they're see beyond it. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's all a taste thing, and it's weird to have gatekeeping on any of it because it's all, you know, like for example, like I used to think who is that fella? Goddamn, I can't remember his goddamn name now. He's a black comedian. I sent you a clip of him earlier, and I've been watching so much more of his stuff.
Oh, Cat Williams.
I used to bag on Cat Williams and be like, yeah, it's a tone sort of it's not for me. I started watching Cat Williams a lot more recently. I mean, he's definitely a lane, but it is the things he's able to do are fucking insane. Like the dude is just pure funny. Like he is just pure fucking funny. Is he the smartest comedian on the face of the planet? No. But he's way, way funny. Like, he is crushingly funny. In his ability to just look at something, take it, tweak it a little bit, and be like, how about now? And you're like, whoa. Like, it's just, and it is a big showmanship thing, you know. You will never find a bigger showman than that guy. Than him and Dane Cook, you know, maybe are up there. You know, I mean, Jim Carrey, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I really respect what other comedians like when they. Here's the thing that I watched recently. Bill Burr was on another podcast. I forget the name of the guy. Yeah, we're way off. But like Bill Burr was basically saying like people back in the 90s were like, or you know, early 2000s were basically like, if you moved on stage, it was too much. Like you're not a real stand-up unless you're literally standing still. And it's like, and it was so refreshing to hear Bill Burr be like, yeah, I'd see Carrot Top's hilarious. You know, like these people that like get bagged on, they're like, they're funny. You laugh at them because they're good at what they do. And it's not, you don't have to like have this narrow view of, anyway, let's get back to M3gan.
No, it's a good point. It is a good point. And that's kind of the way it is with these horror movies. You know, it's like, yeah, what's scary to you? You know, some people saw Friday the 13th and were horrified, you know, genuinely terrified. And other people saw it and it was nothing, or it was just silly, or it was, you know. So, I mean, basically what we do here is a little bit of a joke. But you know how our tastes are, so you can gauge how you think you'll react to M3gan based on, you know, what our tastes are versus yours.
So like one of the pitfalls of them not really going all in on this character being like autistic or being like
Gemma's character
aloof, yeah, is that we're not really, it's such a missed opportunity for the setup of M3gan being basically the main caregiver of Katie. Because like it kind of goes over that moment, but it's not sold well enough where it's she introduces M3gan and it's like, yeah, she's a playmate and they have a good time, but also she teaches about science and hygiene and all the things that the parent is tired of asking the child to do. And the joke, or like the funny thing would be showing Allison Williams like just completely incapable of like having the patience to do this with Katie. Like there should have been a couple scenes where it was like, I mean, they did the coaster on the table thing, but like having a couple more bits of like, you know, asking Katie to flush the toilet and then looking at M3gan and then back at the toilet and back at M3gan, back to the toilet, and then like having a scene where it's like, M3gan, hey, why don't you flush the fucking toilet? You know,
that was, by the way, that scene went a long way in selling this movie to me,
right?
Because you do not realize how real it is. My kids just
specifically
just shit in the toilet and walk away. They just shit and walk away. It's Bryce's kids. I thought they were animals for a long time because my kids are younger than Bryce's kids, so my kids weren't shitting in the toilet yet.
I mean,
I would go over to Bryce's house and there'd be turds everywhere. And I'd be like, what is this with your animal kids? And Bryce is like, I just can't get them to do it. And I was like, you weak, you, look at you. And then and then my kids start shitting in the toilet and walking away. And I'm like, what will it take? What?
Well, see, that's the thing is like, by that time, you're so over the moon that they're shitting in the toilet.
You're just happy that they shat in the toilet. You can forgive the fact that your house smells like shit because there's open air shit in that toilet.
So like this, that was the other thing that like reduced the believability for me is that the second time that your android companion would ask you to wash your hands and flush the toilet, the kid would just walk by the android, just be like, eh.
That's another iPad that I won't pay attention to, or will accordingly.
So, but yeah, I wish they would have like set that up as like, no, this was the thing that Gemma unlocked specifically because she's negligent as a parent. Like it should, because they present it as this was always the intention. This was always the intention that this was going to be basically a parent for the kid and not just a plaything. And so that was a big beef for me. But once you get past that, like, it's great. And like, I give it credit for kind of the psychological aspect of it, of the psychologist saying like, hey, there's a thing called attachment theory, and what you're doing is you're having your little girl attached to this piece of technology and become super dependent on it. It's like, having an iPad on steroids. And it's also very accurate in its depiction of a child not being able to use the technology that they're dependent on. Like, you want to see how a child acts after you take away their iPad that you use as a crutch, to, get in an hour or two of being able to do something else other than constantly answer children's questions. Well, take away the iPad, and then you'll just hear the biggest fits. So it is a really good analogy for reliance on technology as a parent to watch your kids.
Yeah, for sure. And but let's get into a little bit of how this movie plays out. So it's one of these things where it starts a little alarming and then it just ramps it up, right? So first of all, Megan just looks off, right? The design on Megan is very appropriate, right? There's a little bit of there's a lot of an uncanny valley thing going on here, which is when something looks human but off, there's a thing that your brain does, and I think they call it the uncanny valley. And it's just a hump that your head can't get over, which is to say, that thing looks like me a little bit, but there's something off. If you were to watch that Tom Hanks movie about Christmas, then you would know the Polar Express. You would know exactly what I mean.
Yeah, the other thing is, like, I feel like the designer asked Gemma, like, what are you wanting the designer, like, what do you want Megan to look like? And Gemma just goes, 100% mean girl. Like, 100%. And that's, like, what comes off is mean girl. Yeah,
it's a lot of weird implications with this whole thing, because it completely sidesteps the other very obvious market for Android, silicone Android girls.
Go on.
Maids.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah,
there's a lot of societal problems that could be solved with a young child, soft touch Android.
Oh, Oh, yeah, cleaning up all that gross stuff.
Yeah, like rescue operations. They can fit in, little pipes.
Kids, your father's going to be just fine. Okay, everybody, put on your corpse handling gloves.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's a lot of weird things that they
other things could it be useful for? Societal problems that could be solved with,
Run, boy!
Just a young girl that would do anything for you.
A young girl?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have
Probably
to be
take
young.
care of pets.
Ew. I don't like where this is going. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's if you had the ability to make a small in stature one, you have the ability to make a full stature one.
Well, yeah, but I think the sequel to Megan should explore who's going to buy a Megan doll.
That's the actual horror movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's more disturbing?
Yeah. Oh, so
Megan
yeah. So
or
fucked up.
the 20-year-old bachelor
Yeah.
that buys a Megan doll.
The first movie is Megan, and the second movie is just literally Human Centipede 2. It's the guy from Human Centipede 2 buying a Megan doll. And everybody just being like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it will get weird and horrible. I'm going to be honest with you. That's what they should do with this IP. Blumhouse would never do that, though.
I mean, why not though? Like, if you want to push the horror genre, if you want to push it and be like, let's really disturb people. Like, there's one area that's the most disturbing part of humanity, and it's
incels.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. You're definitely right. That idea that you had, and and
hey, I'm just a problem solver. I see, problems that need solutions.
Right.
That's why I came up with did I ever tell you my idea for terminal cancer high?
What? No.
So I had an idea of like, how do we solve the problem of school shootings? And like, they're gonna happen. Like, you gotta, and what they really want is notoriety. They want people to talk about them. And so I say, create a reality TV show where you populate an entire high school with kids that have terminal diseases. They're going to die. And then you just like kind of have an open invitation for any school shooters to come shoot up this school. And I know what you're thinking. That's terrible. It's a very secure school. Like, it's not easy. Like, there's guards, like, and everything, but like,
it's like a hard level.
Yeah, it's a hard level. So, I mean, if you want notoriety, it'll be like this thing where like a school shooting happens at a regular school and they're like, who the fuck cares? Like, they didn't even try for terminal cancer high. Like, so they, like, who cares about them? The school shooters that go after terminal cancer high, they are like the notable evil people, and yeah, I think like, and then the other thing is that you can pay all the kids, medical bills that are going to school from the proceeds of the advertising. Everyone wins.
Everyone wins.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's less of a tragedy because if anyone does get killed, they're already going to die.
This is like an actual trauma movie. I think this is a trauma movie. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, I like to solve problems,
Well, there it is. If
Vote for Bryce Hansen for U.S. Senate.
I gotta say, man, there's been a lot of moments where I thought that would be the actual undoing of horror movie talk, but I think this is definitively the moment that we can point to and say, I think they jumped the shark right here.
I'll mark it with a clip. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Okay, so the design of Megan is perfect for being alarming. And there's a couple moments that are great in the movie where like Katie and Megan will be in the back seat of the car and they're getting to like the summer camp or whatever the fuck it is. And the camp counselor is like there and she's like, "Hey, Katie, great to see you. Happy to have you at the summer camp. Who's this? Is this your friend?" And she like ducks down to see the face. And she's like, "Holy shit!" Like, oh, whoa, like, woo. It's hard to look at you. And every time something like that happened, it was great. And and I
anytime someone acknowledges that it's the creepiest thing in the world, it works. And anytime that people were like, "That's a doll," and they're like interested in like, yeah, that's not how people would react or whatever. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
as far as like the progression of the Megan character, like I feel like it was pretty cookie cutter. Like it had the 3 moments that you need in every movie of an android turning evil, which is have them have a computational error, and that's where like that was a great scene where Megan like researched death, and that felt very Adult Swim. That was like totally what it reminded me of. Let me see if I can pull it up. This one.
So, Teddy, I don't know why. My name is Alan. Hello, my name is Teddy. I was created to be an exact digital backup of Alan Resnick. My purpose is to replace Alan Resnick at the time of his death. Thank you. Well, that's true, Teddy, but you're also here to help me explain my force.
Anyways, like if you've watched that infomercial thing from Adult Swim, like it's like the androids trying to comprehend existence. And so like when you see Megan like researching death, and you're like, uh-oh, this is not good. And then the next step is, of course, kill an animal. Like that's like, okay, it's bad, but like it's just more disturbing. It's the same like steps that a serial killer would go through. You kill an animal first, and then you kill a small human. Then you work your way up. And it goes up and towards more of a rampage. And then, of course, turning up on your creator. Like those are the 4 points that you have to hit in this movie. And it just does those. So I wish that was one thing. And I think this is one of the things that you can point to of the PG-13 edit being detrimental is that I feel if they went hard R, there's probably more kills. There's probably more disturbing scenes or versions of scenes that make it better.
Yeah, there's a few moments of violence that stand out in this where they go for disturbing, but it's just not quite pulled off right. Like, so at that summer camp, there's a bully, obviously, and he's pushing chestnuts where they don't belong. You know, Chestnut is pokey, and so he's paired up with Katie. And Megan is, watching in the background, watching this bully, and the bully takes a chestnut and he pushes it into Katie's hand, and Katie's like, "Ow, my hand! The chestnuts are pointy," and he's like, "Yeah, that's the point. I was trying to hurt you. I am a bully." And then Megan, comes to the rescue and pulls on his ear. And this is an effect that you see more and more now, where they'll take a silicone prosthetic and tape it to you, and then pull it, stretch it a lot. I can't remember the other movies that I've seen recently that do this, but there's a decent amount of them. But in this one, you can see the light behind his. The effect just isn't done well, because you can see that it's silicone.
Yeah, that's not how skin works.
Right. Yeah. And so I mean it's a disturbing concept of violence, but it's not pulled off visually very well. But there are other parts that are pulled off really well, like Megan, generally speaking. Like her appearance is alarming because it's a little person with a masks make you creepy, and when she dances around, that's fucking horrifying.
that was probably one of the greatest scenes when she's dancing around before attacking the CEO. That was great. The thing that they didn't pull off super well was the galloping. I was like, we've had so much better galloping of monsters and stuff on screen. Like, I'm surprised it looks so bad.
Well, yeah, you can't, but what they lose in the galloping, they make up for in the weird fat fingers. Those fingers were, every time I saw them, I was like, oh, ooh, those are really alarming digits. Yeah, I didn't like those. I didn't like the fingers, but
I like to see the arms.
I did like to see the arms. Yeah. What? Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. What are you doing?
I want to touch your fingers. I want to hold her hand.
I want to hold your hand. Oh, now YouTube's going to get us. There's some real clumsy effort in this movie to there it is. That's the actual effect. Wow, you did it. Okay, so if anybody's not on YouTube, what up, YouTube? What up? This Bryce has on the screen right now the actual silicone ear effect that doesn't work for me, and you'll see why, because it's a still image and it's just absurd. But yeah, in the end, this movie turned out to just be a reskinning of Signs. Yeah.
How so?
Swing away, Meryl. Water was the answer, buddy. Yeah.
Well, for a second.
Well, swing away. Everything comes back to Signs. Everything just comes back. And Signs is a reskinning of what it is. You know, what is it? The War of the Worlds.
Yeah,
so everything
that's true.
just comes back to War of the Worlds, I suppose.
It's probably, well, the original would be the, what was that, the Greek play that was the origin of Deus Ex Machina?
I don't know. No. They're not talking about
There's like, yeah, when we talk about, you've heard of that term, right? Deus Ex Machina, or God in the Machine.
Yeah, yeah.
It's literally the end of this play was God comes down and saves everything in the form of this like machine that comes down. So anyways, yeah, the ending was pretty great. I like your note here. Be funny if they made another version of M3gan that just had weak, shitty servos instead of hydraulic presses. I think that's kind of like what makes Child's Play so charming, is that you know they can just punt him anytime they want. Like that's always the default, and you want, like, internally, like, well, just punt him away. Like, he can't get you if you just pick him up and punt him like a football.
It's also what's so creepy about Chucky is he hides under beds and shit
Right.
with a knife and slices your Achilles tendon. You know, he realizes his.
Yeah. So there's that, but there's also just the frustration of no one ever does.
Right.
Like, the filmmakers specifically make it so no one just kicks him away. It's
Right.
like, no, they've always got to either have the character make the wrong decision or have Chucky circumnavigate that threat. Yeah, but this one, it's like, no, she could literally, like, probably throw a car at you if in this world.
It's too powerful. It's too much. But you know, they end up they figure it out.
Anything else?
Yeah, I will say this. I'm gonna throw in a little. So we've been over on the Patreon. We've been working real hard for almost 2 years now on the pretentious reviews. The pretentious reviews are reviews that are available only on Patreon. We have almost 24 of those, and I'd like to go down that list real quick. From beginning to end. So these are old to new. We've reviewed, and these won't come out on the Horror Movie Talk regular feed. So these are reviews you can only listen to over on Patreon. We got Basket Case from early 80s. We got Dead Alive / Brain Dead from the early 90s. Cabin in the Woods, Army of the Dead, Greenland, Ghoulies, House. You got The Void, Don't Look Now, The Last House on the Left from 72. You have Psycho, Cemetery Man from 94, which is crazy. Cat People from 1942. The Vanishing, which is one of the most haunting movies I've ever seen. Mad God. You got Goodnight Mommy. The Blood Splattered Bride, which is a lesbian-ish kind of vampire movie from the 70s. Eyes Without a Face, They Look Like People, Videodrome, The Fly from 58, and today we are reviewing Repulsion from 1965, which is a Roman Polanski movie that, for being a movie from the 60s, is insane.
Do you think Roman Polanski would like Megan?
I bet Roman Polanski would actually fucking love Megan. Yeah, I can say that with certainty. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on there, and a lot of, like, I don't know, my default for picking movies for the pretentious reviews are like, what's literally would people think would be pretentious if we put it out on the regular. So a lot of Criterion Collection selections or older movies, but some real hard hitters in there. I mean, the fact that we put Psycho up as a kind of a gated review, I feel a little bit bad about, but hey, it's not that expensive, you know? I
mean, yeah, like I said, The Vanishing lives in my head. It just lives. I just think about that movie all the time. It's unfortunate that I've seen it from 1988. Because I don't know that any movie will ever live up to that again. Like, it was such a weird ride. It was so crazy. Anyway,
what about Cat People?
Cat People had one of the first jump scares, and Megan has a lot of jump scares that are actually pretty good. We never talked about that, but pretty good jump scares in Megan, and I was impressed. So yeah, check out Megan if you're into this kind of thing. It's the new hot thing. I will also say that what's her face Gemma tries to use a hedge trimmer to kill Megan, and that's maybe the most maddening tool ever created for a number of reasons. It's just not a good killing tool. Just not. It's a good, like, general light maiming tool. I had to use hedge trimmers a lot in one of my jobs for years and years, and it was maddening because they never work quite. They're like a in between tool. They do one thing pretty good, but everything else that you want to use them to kill people with, it's just gonna it's not good. Anyway, well, let's now get into the next part of the show, which is horror movie. Danny DeVito seems like the kind of person who has a thick but short penis. This is really more of a factoid.
Thanks, Norm.
Yeah. Oh man, rip in peace.
Okay, where did we leave off?
I think we're at December 30th, Beyond the Grave.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Hey, this is from Beyond the Grave. I'm sicky, so this could be my last call from my deathbed.
Oh, no.
But, who called in about Titon? And they said you're not pronouncing the French right, but they should say Titon, that movie.
Titan.
But what you guys were talking about how that whole firefighter shirtless dance scene felt like it was like a women's point of view about how they would think men would act. I think this is a real testament to showing that you guys aren't really bros, because I feel like actual bros would just be like, yeah, that's just a normal, like, Friday night with me and the boys. I don't think you understand how gay straight men are. Like, are you kidding me? I feel like I've seen that IRL, and I'm like, yeah, sounds typical of me. Oh God, I think this is my last breath. Let me see if I can get one more out before it's the end, and I take the long dirt nap.
Oh. love you, Beyond the Grave.
Yeah, so here's my response to that.
I think Beyond the Grave has said on the show before that he is gay.
Like, I gotta... So, I'm gonna contend with this. Yes. You get a bunch of straight men in a room. It's gonna get... You get a bunch of straight bros in a room. It's gonna get pretty gay. But it's gonna be like... a lot of sexual tension kind of gay. Like, they're never going to go all the way. You know, it's not going to... They'll never feel secure, and they're trying to make other people feel insecure about doing gay stuff.
No, I definitely...
It's a lot of, like, reaching up legs and, like...
Oh, yeah, no. I've definitely taken part in this kind of thing.
Right.
You know,
but it's not...
Gay chicken is some of the most fun you can ever have.
Gay chicken is the straightest game you could possibly play. As a man.
And that's a weird sort of thing to say a little bit, isn't it?
Right. Well, see, that's the difference is that's not gay because gay people don't play gay chicken.
No, yeah, they just fuck.
Yeah, they just pull down their pants and start going to town. You know?
Wow. Whoa, big insights on horror movie time.
So when you have a fire station full of men that just start taking off their shirts and dancing, that's real gay. That's like gay guys would do that. Straight guys would do that to make each other feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of laughing. Like, there'd be a lot of Steve-O in the background.
There'd be one guy doing the majority of the dancing and dancing right up on the other guys that are still fully clothed and like laughing.
Yeah, Michael, don't.
They're laughing, but they kind of like it because they have a close relationship and camaraderie, but they would never consummate it. It's really kind of one of the saddest phenomenon if you think about it, is that just straight men just having as close to romantic love as you can have, but you can never consummate it. It's like a Victorian tale, really. You know,
maybe we should do gay chicken on the show more.
Right.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Well, it's just Bryce.
Oil me up, Daddy. Oil me up, Daddy. I'm coming in, and I'm a little soup boy. Champa champa.
I don't know, you know, like, so, okay, so if you were gay, what would be your lane? You know, like, what would be your taste?
I feel like I'd have a real, bears, obviously.
Oh, really?
Like,
hairy, big hairy guys.
I mean, I feel like that's the only option for me. Like, I'm so intimidated by
oh no, dude,
gay culture where you'd have to, I feel like I'd have to.
You're intimidated by gay culture?
Yeah, dude,
that's so gay.
They really care about their appearance and like being in shape, you know. Well, a certain lane. I'm just saying.
No, you're right.
And then there's the bears like that. There's nothing more life-changing for my perspective of the world than after seeing what was that show that you sent me?
Yeah, that was a great show.
What's it called?
Gay
No Borders
Bear
or something
Vice.
like that.
Here, let's find it. Oh yeah, Balls Deep is the name of the show.
Balls Deep.
Yeah,
there's,
and it's the name,
which is a little on the nose for this episode in particular.
Yeah, the name of this episode is called Bears. By the way.
Yeah, so this guy is basically kind of a version of Louis Theroux, or what's his name, Andrew Callahan, where he's a real blank slate, but he goes to this festival in like, where was it, New Jersey or something?
I think it was in
like
Maryland or Massachusetts.
It was gay bears, and he was just like, it's all just burly or like kind of fat, hairy guys that are all gay, and they're like just really accepting of each other and their own bodies.
They're like, you're more of an otter. You know, you're more of an otter. And he's like, why is that? And they're like, because you're small and sleek. You know? And I was just like, oh, okay. I'm learning.
I implore you, go find it on YouTube because it's fascinating. And then the part where he goes under the boardwalk and you just hear sex sounds.
I'll never forget when he goes under the boardwalk at night and you just hear
and
like
and
smacking
moaning
sounds,
and he comes out
white
as a sheet.
His face is just like, oh my god, what has happened? And he's like, the smells. There was so much. It just smelled like poop, and like, good lord, oh wow, yeah, no, okay. So you think it'd be kind of a bear thing?
Yeah, I feel like that would be where I'd get most of my play.
I mean, well, no, I mean you would be a bear, but
right, I would be a bear.
You would attract. Who knows what you would attract?
Yeah, who knows who I'd attract? You
See,
never know.
And this is the thing. When we went to, I'll never forget this. When we went to go see, before the show had ever started, we would go see movies occasionally together, and we went to go see Ready Player One, and it was a pretty full theater. And you and I walked in, and we're sitting. We're sitting down, and I tried to sit in the seat right next to you, and he's like, "This," and you go, "No, I will not make out with you," or you're like, "This isn't a date." Like, did you think this was a date or something like that? And I was just like mortified. I was like, oh. I don't
know. Maybe my other friends are just all naturally way more introverts than you, because it was astounding to me that you wouldn't put a buffer seat in between. I'm like, what is this? Who are you?
Well, but then you claim this introvert title, and then you out loud in a crowded theater say, "No, I will not make out with you." And I was like, ah! It was horrible. I've never been so mortified in my entire life.
See, that's how we know we're straight, because I would make that a thing.
Well, I know I'm straight because I am.
Right. You know, jury's still out. So, I mean, maybe we should just put it to the listeners, like listeners, viewers. If we have any gay men out there listening and watching us, I'm sure there's like 3. Like, are we your type? Like, who would be my type and who would be David's type?
Well, you have to pick. No, you have to pick. I mean, you have to figure out who you're attracted to. Who are you attracted to is my question.
Well, no, I'm saying like who would be attracted to us.
See, no, but I asked the question, and that was not the intent behind the question. The intent behind the question was, who would you be attracted to?
Oh, who would I be attracted to?
Yeah, the guy who takes care of himself, or like
the guys that have a vagina, probably.
That's the one I'd be attracted to too. I'm glad we've talked about this. Next caller. It's
What's going on, fellas? Just calling to say I love the show. This is Matt from Greensboro, North Carolina, all the way on the other side of the country. Just calling to say I love the show. Love you guys. I hope you do. There's a really badass movie called Dead and Buried. It has one of the greatest needle to the eye scenes in movie history. Maybe you guys have seen it. I'm not a Patreon member. Bills are tight, fellas, so I can't really do that right now. Maybe one of these days. But Dead and Buried is what it's called. Hopefully you get to that one. But keep up the good work, and Happy New Year. All right.
Happy New Year, Matt from North Carolina. Dead and Buried from 1981. I have not seen it. And by the way, all those reviews that I mentioned earlier that are on our Patreon, they are at the $25 level. But here's a cool thing you can do. You can hop on that $25 level for a month, listen to those 23 or 4 reviews that I mentioned, and then just pare your Patreon level down. And just have access to the afterpods and all the other cool stuff we got over there. No, this looks like a pretty cool movie.
I gotta say, my go-to for needle in the eye horror has got to be Fire in the Sky.
Oof, yeah.
And I think actually, I mean, I'm looking at the still from Dead and Buried, and I'm like, oh, Fire in the Sky must have like stolen it from this, because it's very close. Fire in the Sky tells the story of an alien abduction, and they don't have a fun time.
Robert Englund is in Dead and Buried. Wow.
Damn.
Crazy.
All
Dude,
right.
did you
Next.
hear Lisa Marie Presley died?
No.
Crazy, dude. I remember in the 90s when she was going out with Michael Jackson.
She's married to him.
Yeah, sure. She was the prettiest person I had ever seen. I was like, wow, you are so gorgeous. I just remember thinking that as a child and being like, she's hot. Next call.
Next caller.
Hey, this is Sam from Indianapolis. Haven't called and talked to you guys in a while. I'm sure you're worried as hell. I've just had a lot going on. Recently got married. Thanks for your congratulations. That's nice of you and all. I noticed you didn't get anything off the registry, but that's cool. The reason for my call is I saw M3gan last night, and I'm sure by the time you guys get around to listening to this voicemail, it'll have been out for like 3 months or so, but it's cool. I just wanted to get ahead of the curve here and say M3gan was surprisingly good. I went into it really expecting another Malignant, but it's one of those movies that's like self-aware to the point that the humor works. I really think if they would have approached Malignant the same way they approached M3gan, it would have been a much better movie. But I also love how it ends with what I've coined robotomy. So if you guys say that on the podcast, just know I said it first. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Robotomy. And he did say it first. Yeah, well, hey, Sam from Indianapolis, congratulations on getting married. The thing off your registry is in the mail. Whoa.
Yeah, it must have got lost in the mail. I'll go check the tracking number.
You know, Malignant is somehow became iconic.
Mm-hmm.
People talk about it constantly. For what a fucking
I might have to
nothing
revisit it because I think I bagged on it pretty hard.
It was terrible, Bryce. Do not.
I mean, I think this movie kind of confirms where it's like, yeah, they're kind of clumsy. They don't quite commit to what the tone needs to be.
You know, it's crazy to me. Okay, here's a crazy thing to me. James Wan, if you compare James Wan and M. Night Shyamalan, it's crazy to me that James Wan hasn't had the fall from grace that Shyamalan had, because Shyamalan is a much better storyteller, much more talented, much more interesting, much more fun stuff, in my opinion, obviously. But I don't know. Like, so people, like, The Happening happened, and then people were like, Shyamalan all he can make is shit. And it's like, but James Wan just gets to continually make these low effort, like, we're going to try and do Saw again somehow. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying exactly, but there's something there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Next call.
I loved his direction on Aquaman.
Shyamalan? Oh, Wan?
James Wan.
Okay.
Hey, this is Tyler calling from Minnesota. Listening to old episodes and just watched and listened to the review for Candyman remake. And the opening song that Bryce sang, the Candyman song, listening at work, and I laughed so hard I damn near fell off my ladder. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Bryce, you're very talented.
I know.
Oh, okay, yeah. Play this next one. I'm gonna try and pull something up.
All right. That was it. No. Here we go.
Hey, it's Robert the Farter. I just wanted to tell you guys about this trip that I went on a little while ago. I went out to Astoria, Oregon, and I visited the set of The Goonies with my family, and it was really cool. And I got to see the Goonies house and the beach where they filmed some scenes, like Haystack Rock, and it was just really cool. I also got to I saw Corey Feldman once at Fan X, Salt Lake City, which was really cool. But like, just what an amazing movie Goonies is. Like, I hate just more proof that Steven Spielberg is a great director, and the people who say that they don't are stupid. Okay, bye.
I don't think that Goonies was actually directed by Steven Spielberg.
Senor Spielbergo.
It was directed by Richard Donner.
Right. Yeah. No, it was one of those ones that had it had Spielberg.
Yeah, it was produced. It was the story by Steven Spielberg, but it was directed by Richard Donner, which is another underappreciated director, in my opinion.
That was our boy Robert the Farter. We love him. But something,
you can't blindside me with this image. Where did this come from?
Okay, so this just adds to my love of Robert, which is he's a pretty talented artist, and he has a real unique style. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see what's going on right now. Robert wrote us a real nice message that had to do with like being like, hey guys, I know you're far apart now, but your friendship will endure because you're good friends, and I drew this portrait of you two as friends. And here's this portrait, and it's almost like the level of...
It's pretty good.
It's pretty fucking good. But it's kind of like a Beavis and Butthead.
It is, yeah.
Did it give you Beavis and Butthead vibes?
I mean, the likeness is astounding.
It's
I think
dead on.
The scale is a little off. Like,
yeah,
I should be twice as big.
Well, I'm shorter than you.
Right. Yeah.
But if we're both sitting down,
I mean, it tells you. This tells you, in our listeners' eyes, your stature is higher.
Well, I mean, when you're sitting down, and all that people have to go off of is this. Yeah.
No, I'm astounded.
Isn't it great?
Man.
But to add to the best part of this whole thing is Robert doesn't have his own Instagram account. So I get these messages and these drawings from his mom's Instagram account. So it's so confounding to me because I'm like, who is this? And he's like, I love you, and I just drew you this picture, and it's from this gal named Olivia, and I'm like, what is and then I have to remember, Robert sends us via, his...
Dude, that should be our Facebook background now.
I agree completely. Oh, man. Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah, that's one of my most cherished...
Thank you so much, Robert.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm flattered.
Yeah,
it's almost as good as that painting that was sent to us.
Oh man, I have that.
Yeah,
my wife won't let me put it even in the garage.
What?
Dude, yeah, if you guys want to send us fan mail or anything like that, we do accept that. You just got to hit us up at info@horrormovietalk.com, and then we'll vet you as a serial killer or not. And
yeah. Do you have that painting in your garage? You should just pull it out.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I don't have it on hand.
Okay, thanks for calling in, Robert.
Next caller.
Yeah, the Goonies house in Astoria is a known issue. I think they just recently sold it.
Yeah, it sold for like $1.6 million, which is that's an impressive price in Astoria. Astoria is kind of on its way out kind of town right now, but it's a very quaint, cute town. Like,
yeah, it's very picturesque. I mean, just watch Goonies.
Yeah.
You'll see what Astoria looks like.
It still looks like that.
Hey,
yeah,
it's Robert the Farter. Just calling in to say, yes, I definitely am an old soul, just by like what type of music and what type of movies I like. Also went back and watched Arachnophobia, and is it just me, or is that movie still like super effective? Because to me it was, and yeah. Also, I'm really happy right now. Was checking Netflix, just scrolling through Netflix, saw that The Burbs was on Netflix now, which is awesome. And I'm surprised you guys haven't reviewed The Burbs yet. So so if there are anybody out there listening, anybody who loves The Burbs, I would recommend that for one you guys should review. Okay, thanks. Anyways, it's Robert the Fart.
Yes. Yeah, actually,
yeah, we didn't review The Burbs. We put an intense amount of effort into a live showing of The Burbs, and then we never recorded an episode around it.
Yeah, accurate. About a year ago.
What did we do there? So we did The Burbs, The Fly, The Exorcist, and what was the other one? Hereditary. Yeah. So yeah, the only one we don't have a review of is The Burbs.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, no. We did watch it. It is a great movie. Oh man, yeah, I watched Arachnophobia. I rewatched Arachnophobia about a year ago. It is a fabulously effective movie. I love it. I truly love it. Those spiders, the real life spiders that they got to dance around, it was just so much fun. And by the way, like, I feel like Arachnophobia has one of the coolest intros. Like, they put real effort into the intro on Arachnophobia. It's almost a different movie, because a lot of the movie feels a little bit like a soundstage, and then some of the movie feels like Jurassic fucking Park. So it's a very cool older, what is that, 89? Jeff Bridges? No,
it's the guy from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber. Yeah, what is his fucking name?
Arachnophobia 1990, Jeff Daniels.
My name is Jeff. Yeah, good. Yeah, good. I started Parenthood last night. All of these are, Parenthood, The Burbs, Arachnophobia, all right around 90, 89, 90. It was a good time. This is a good time to be making movies. It was a fun.
I showed my kids the Three Amigos.
Oh yeah,
finally. That's a great movie to get younger kids into comedy.
Sometimes I watch these Kevin Nealon hiking.
Oh yeah,
videos. Where he hikes with a famous person, and he takes Martin Short on a hike, and that is so it's normally you get people who are happy to be there, and Martin Short doesn't seem happy to be there and rips Kevin Nealon apart. It is almost cruel in his it's like, whoa, Jesus Christ, you can be a fucking stone cold mean person.
No, that's definitely on brand for Martin Short.
It is.
He's a huge troll, and
it is. But look, big Martin Short fan. I've seen a lot of his stuff. It just doesn't quite. It doesn't even. Kevin's one of these guys who gives it, too. But even then, it felt a little bit like, whoa, where is this coming from? It felt like he was irritated because at the start, he's late or something like that. He's like, we're not going to be, or something. I can't remember exactly what happened, but it feels like he does not want to be there. It felt off, but that could have just been the genius of Martin Short, so who knows?
Okay. Another long one from Beyond the Grave.
I did it. I beat the odds. Everyone was against me. It's beyond the grave. I'm alive. I came back again. I'm calling about. I got a double feature of Anya Thomas, Taylor Johnson, JTT Joy. What the fuck? Anya Taylor Thomas, Justin Taylor Thomas. Her, the Queen Gambit.
Yeah.
I saw the menu.
The Gambit.
And I also saw Last Night in Soho, which I think last night in Soho is the closest thing I'm ever going to get to a bell jar adaptation to screen in my lifetime, or anyone's. But the menu, interesting you guys said about Emma Stone and that. Apparently she was slated to be that character in the movie, and then they said, eyes too close, further eyes out, get that girl in. They got her in. But that menu, what a fun time. What's so funny? Here's another broken emulsion. This service industry horror, I feel like it would be interesting to have, because I feel like she was kind of scaring the guy because she was being kind of rude to the chef, which I'm like, that's always really terrifying and like humiliating when like you're out with someone somewhere and they're rude to the wait staff. But then she's like, well, we're fucking paying for it. I can get whatever the fuck I want. And I said, oh, that's that sex worker playing smart business card right there. I was gonna say, I was thinking, well, how come there's no big fat people in this movie eating? But then I was like, would the audience be like, that's just fat phobic for him to be like, you have a big fat person eating mindlessly? But I guess that old man was kind of that character, so I don't know. Maybe that just proves you don't need fat people to explain that. But listen, I'm always advocating for more fat people in film. Let's start there. Let's end there. Let's put it in the middle there. I want to end it with, I would like an apology from everyone for being the person who would think it was a good idea to order like chicken nuggets at a nice place, because in the end that would have saved everyone. You know, can I get a good burger? Can I get some good chicken nuggies? You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
I love him. He's great. Yeah, I don't know. You can't barely do anything. You can't even fart funny anymore without having somebody be upset about it. And I think everybody feels like they have a right to be upset, and they have a right to be heard, because the internet gives you some sort of false sense of importance. The good news is we're not important at all. So that's how you know you can trust the words coming out of our mouths. I don't know. Would it have been a fat phobic to have a fat person in a restaurant, or would it have just been another slice of America being at a restaurant? You know, like.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, see, talking as a fat person, like, I don't like food necessarily. We're not foodies. We just like eating. So it's like, why would I spend $1,000 to eat five bites of food, or if I could just go to KFC and get a bucket, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's that special recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tried and true, technically. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. To be honest with you, if you're the kind of person to be like, a fat person at a restaurant, really? Are we doing this? It's like, yes. Like, I see every kind of person at restaurants, because that's where people go to eat.
Right.
So shut up.
All right, last caller.
Here we go.
Hey guys, this is Nicole Loftus from Miramar, Florida. I would like for you to do a request for me on May 18th, my birthday. I'm turning 33 this year. If you can please do 1998 Urban Legends starring Michael Rosenbaum, Robert England, and so on. Can you please do that movie? That would be great. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.
I think that's the first direct request we've had on the voicemail.
Yeah, isn't that crazy that
crazy.
we've made it so long without having anybody be like, can you? Yeah, so what do you think? Can we do that for her?
It's on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, it won't be May 18th. It may be May 18th.
There's so
2033.
Yeah, there's so many requests like, Do you still think of? I honestly still think of a request from Jessica.
Puka. I think about it all the time.
I think about it all the time. Like, Jessica, we're going to get to Puka someday.
I'm so sorry.
And then every week it's like,
not Puka this week.
Not Puka.
4 years later, still not Puka. I think it's just had a sequel.
If anyone has a claim on like us doing a listener request, Jessica definitely. I think she was maybe the second or third patron.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was like literally.
It's still like, fuck you.
her only request was Puka.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So this is actually, first of all, Nicole, I hope you have a very happy birthday. It sounds like you're young and vibrant at 33 years old. So congratulations on still having a couple years left, where you can enjoy not hurting. But that's nice. But unfortunately, unless you're a patron who can vote, which is the $15 tier, this whole episode is just a big Patreon commercial. Then you don't have any influence over the kind of movie or what movie we're going to review. This month they thankfully voted on. They just squeaked by. We don't have to review Small Soldiers. It's going to be House of a Thousand Corpses. And who knows when that'll actually come out. That'll come out on Patreon right after we record it, but I don't know when it'll come out on the actual.
Yeah, what did we've got a recording for Audition.
Mm.
We did last month, but
it came out
hasn't
on
been
Patreon.
released to the public.
No.
It's just if you're a patron that voted for it, you've listened to it.
Right.
Anyways, I mean, honestly, we do one movie
a week.
52 weeks in the year, and we have thousands of listeners now, if not more. I don't know. And so it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. Well, it goes on list unless you're a patron and you vote on it and campaign for it.
It goes on a list, which is to say it definitely doesn't go on any list at all. All right, everybody. Well,
it's on my shopping list right next to
2 liter Coca-Cola. 2 liter Coca-Cola.
2 liter Coca-Cola.
Well, with that, guys, thank you so much for listening to our very, very good episode. Very, very good episode
Very good.
of Horror Movie Talk.
Quite good.
Share it with a friend. Support us as best you can. You can go to horrormovietalk.com, buy stuff, become a patron, or shop on Amazon through that Amazon link. Click that link, and then anything you buy on Amazon, a little bit of that goes to us, and that helps us out. It does help us out. So do it. Special thanks to all y'all listening. We appreciate you, and it is
Wednesday, my dudes.
So make sure to have a good rest of your week, and we will see you next Wednesday, my dudes. Bye-bye. We love you.
Bye.
Do you have that outro? I don't know if I have it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Good day, sir. Good day, sir. You lose. Is that makeup?
This girl in a scraggly wig.
He had no face.
Horror.
Wow, that didn't sound good.
Guys ready? Morning ready?